showdown against the University of Rhode Island. Tip-off here at the amp is set for noon time. Drive home safely and go Fridays.
Yep. So I guess we'll do Edwards for the player of the game and Jalen Sellers for the Audi Warwick outstanding performance. All right. That's fine. No, you can do that. That's fine. I don't care. Come back with it.
I will.
And good for Jack Williams in his third game played since joining the Providence roster after spending 4 years at UCLA and getting ready to go to med school. He gets his first point of the season on a three-pointer at the end, and the Friars end up with a 30-point win over Fairleigh Dickinson University. 94-64 is our final score, and we welcome you to our Santander Bank postgame show as Santander is a proud sponsor of Friars basketball from tip-off to final buzzer. Joe, is really a tale of two halves. The Friars had a 52-21 lead at halftime in this one because the shots were just raining in from everywhere. They had 10 threes made in the first half alone. And so I think you said it a couple of times in the second half, there's a natural tendency to kind of let up. But this Providence team not really in a position where they can afford to let up too much because they're still learning how to become a good team.
Yeah, I mean, they started the ball game great. I mean, they were 7 for 9 from the floor. They were 4 for 4 from three-point range out of the gate, and Sellers was making all of those. But what was good about the way they played in that first half, John, I thought, Vox was terrific in passing the ball. I mean, he passed up a number of shots he normally would take and make. I mean, he has good size at 6'7", but he had a double-double in the game, and he had 10 assists in the ball game. He's the first guy to get double-digit assists for this team this year. And he moved the ball nicely and got it to open teammates. Got the ball to Sellers, he got the ball to Edwards, and they benefited from it. And they moved the ball extremely well in the first half with 52 points. But the way they played offensively, they spread the floor nicely, but they threw the extra pass, John. They didn't take the first pass and jack up a three and get themselves in a hole and fall behind. It's nice to play when you're ahead. You're able to run the offense and you can get some good looks, and there's not a lot of pressure to make the shots, and they did a good job the whole ball game of moving the ball and taking good shots. The second half, they got lazy, and, Fairleigh Dickinson outscored them 43-42 in the second half, but you win by 30. But, sometimes you just start standing around and let somebody else get the loose ball or the rebound. And, what's concerning is they gave up 19 offensive rebounds to a Fairleigh Dickinson team that's really not a good rebounding team, and they were out-rebounded in the ball game 34-31. So that needs to be addressed. And I think the guy, Pennis, who had a good ball game against Florida last ball game out, he had 6 rebounds in that ball game and banged with the big guys from Florida, and they have a big front line. You'll probably see him get more and more minutes in the ball game. He's a good rebounder. He's a good defender. He's big body in there at 7 feet 260. So he's a guy that'll probably play a little bit more, and you're going to have him in Big East games to rebound the ball. You can't give up 19 offensive rebounds in a game.
And the other thing that's a little concerning is the penchant for giving up points in the second half. This Friar team allows opponents to score better than 46 points in the second half. They gave up 43 to FDU.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, again, you get to relax. I mean, when you're playing ball games like this and you're blowing somebody out, the sense of urgency kind of goes away, and you just can't mail it in sometimes. But they were able to still, be effective on the offensive end. I like what they did when they shared the ball very well in this one. They had 28 assists, I mentioned, on 35 made baskets. That's good. That's good basketball. They moved the ball very well. I'm still concerned about the way they play a pick and roll. Sometimes, 2 or 3 times in the ball game, 2 guys go to 1 guy and leave the ball open. And
right.
They got to talk on defense a little bit better. They point, and then if guys seeing you point and doesn't get over there, you're both on the same guy. You got to speak. They need to talk a little bit more on the defensive end, but that needs to be addressed because the shots that Fairleigh Dickinson got in the first half were good looks. They just weren't able to make them. You play against a better team that gets those same looks, and it's a different ball game in that first half.
All right, the score, 94-64. We'll continue with more here courtside of our Santander Bank postgame wrap-up. Friars get the win, improved to 5-4 on the season. From Learfield, this is Providence Friar basketball.
Fox first double-double, right?
Yeah.
Rhodey 66, Brown 56 final.
Rhodey by 10.
Yeah.
2-point game at the half.
It's going to be a tough game in here, I think, because they play good defense and they're physical. We don't guard anybody, so
that's going to be a good game.
No, what was that St. John's one? Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
First win for URI against Browns since November 2018.
Wow.
Come on. Who that guy is.
Looking out for a coach. Oh, here you go.
Okay.
Corey.
Matt, make sure I'm up on this one.
Yep, you're on.
Yeah. Playing one of those clips coming back.
You going with Sellers? Ready?
Yeah. Jalen Sellers had 5 made threes in the first half and then added 3 more 2-point baskets in the second half. But Jalen Sellers ends up with 21 points. He's our Audi Warwick outstanding performance of the game, Joe, for that shooting touch in half number 1.
Yeah, he was 5 for 5 from 3 and shot the ball extremely well. Got the Friars off to a good start in the first half. He was confident out there. The Friars making extra passes out there. He was wide open and knocked those threes down. It's nice when they're going in. They shot at a great clip, and he got them going early.
61-64 over FDU. So tell us what you liked in particular about the first half as opposed to the second half.
The first half, I like the fact that the guys came out and they were just thinking about getting stops. We dropped 2 games in San Diego, and we really thought just defensively we didn't bring the energy and the intensity that we needed. So coming into today, it was all about getting stops. It was all about getting kills for us, which is 3 stops in a row. And then offensively, just sharing the ball and making the extra pass. But we really just wanted to work on ourselves going into this game and really prove that, we can defend the ball.
Yeah, you only gave up 21 points in that first half, and I thought the team was really doing a nice job on the offensive end too, Corey, of moving the ball. Vox had 10 assists. He passed up a number of shots that he normally would take, but he's getting the ball to his teammates.
Right.
I thought the extra pass made the offense even look more efficient because you had open looks instead of challenge looks.
Right.
And you didn't take the first shot that showed. You took your time through 3 or 4 passes. That's something you worked on in practice as well?
Yeah, we work on it every day. In practice every day, we pass the ball. We do a lot of drills where we're just passing the ball to each other for shots. We want to get a lot of assists. We want to have a lot of high assists, hockey assists, and the guys are just buying in. As time is going on, they're buying more and more into each other, making plays. We have a lot of guys who can make plays with the ball in their hands. We have a lot of guys who can score it. So particularly with Vox, I love the fact that he came out and selflessly just, passed the ball, really got the ball flowing on the offensive end, and everyone else kind of followed.
Yeah, the last ball game, I thought the kid Pennis, who hasn't been playing a lot. I mean, I thought he looks like a deer in the headlights sometimes. When he's out there in practice and stuff. But he had some nice skills in that game. With his big body, had 6 rebounds, and looks like coach wants to try to move him more into the lineup for rebounding because this Bailey Dickinson team, you can't be happy they had 19 offensive rebounds in the game. But it seems like he's a guy that can get in there and help on the rebounding side.
Yeah, P's big. He's got size. He's physical. So with him is just, building his confidence, day by day. He understands what we want to do out there. So, if we can play him, it's always a plus for us because he knows what we want to do, and he's aggressive. And, he just does the right thing while he's out there.
I thought defensively, too, you guys did a really good job of fighting over the screens in this ball game. A lot of times you get nicked off there, and then there's a little indecision out there. But guys were getting over the screen, fighting over the screens, coming back, and being physical. You like to play physical game. I mean, you gotta have to be physical when you're playing in Big East games because that's the games are all physical.
Right. And today is just a step in the right direction. We understand that. Our guys understand that. Going into the game tonight, we knew they like to shoot a lot of threes. Mm-hmm. We know they don't need a lot of space to get it off, and they shoot them deep. So we just wanted to stay attached all game and make them play through some physicality. Plus, they run a lot of good stuff. So we just wanted to mess up, their timing a little bit with physicality.
Oh, yeah, you took them right out of what they wanted to run. You saw in the second half what they liked to run the back door. They look like Princeton, the old Princeton teams with the back door of the basket, but they couldn't get any of that in the first half.
Yeah. Second half, they got a couple easy ones. I think we had some lapses, just with our Leo and just talking to each other. Mm-hmm. But once we did, regroup, we were pretty fine on that end of the floor. But it just takes our guys to talk to each other. If they talk to each other and we communicate on the defensive end, we can stop anyone.
We talk about that a lot, talking and communication, John.
Right.
So that's something that clearly this team needs to do more of.
Right.
Possible. How do you improve on that?
It starts in practice. Our leaders just being better, being louder, and then everyone else following. But every day, we're talking to guys about just using their voice in a positive way and being loud and being connected. As we know, and once the Big East gets here and this building really gets packed, it's hard to hear, so guys got to be loud and guys got to talk to each other every possession in order to get a stop and to get to where we want to go.
Well, it's a good win there. Now you got a few days now to prepare for Rhode Island, which comes noontime on Saturday. A little different team there. They're a little bit more physical than FDU is. So, you got to prepare for them and keep the same type of defense and get on the glass in that one.
Right. Yeah, they're coming in here, to get a win. At the end of the day, we know that we're not taking them lightly. We'll get back to the gym. We'll practice. We'll get ready, and we'll be physical. We'll be ready to go on Saturday for sure.
All right, nice win today, Carl.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
They had 2 players in double figures. Joey Niesman, the Division II transfer, led them with 14 points. He scored 12 of those in the second half. And then you had Rayshawn Johnson, sophomore guard from Montgomery, New York. Sat out all of last year with shoulder surgery. Ended up with 10 points in this one. 9 for Tayshawn Jackson. 9 for leading scorer Eric Parnell. Friars held him just 2 in the first half overall. 8 for Martinoff in the on the inside, the 7-footer in the middle. 9 for Cox off the bench. Yevtich had 5. Team-wise, Fairleigh Dickinson 36%, 22 of 61. But they were 42% from 3 and hit 11 of 26 from downtown.
Yeah, I mean, they got it going in the second half, and they had some second shot opportunities with those offensive rebounds, but they're a pretty good shooting team. But the Friars took them right out of it in that first half.
Rebounding 34-31 edge for Fairleigh Dickinson. That's something that obviously cannot happen.
Yeah, and 19 of those were offensive rebounds. Very rarely do you see a team have 15 defensive rebounds and 19 offensive rebounds. That's a lot of rebounds off the offensive glass, and they still lost by 30, but that's something the Friars have to clean up. You can't give better teams second shot opportunities.
Friars did, however, outscore FDU 25-12 in points off of turnovers. They forced 18 FDU turnovers. Friars had 4 in double figures, led by a game-high total of 24 from Jason Edwards, who came off the bench, and a 13 of those 24 in the second half, including 3 made threes. 21, as we mentioned, for Jalen Sellers, who had 15 of his 21 in the first half and hit 5 of 6 from 3. We had Stephon Vox with a 10-point, 10-point, 10 assist, double-double in this one. He had to start today, and then 11 points for Corey Floyd with 3 rebounds. Ryan Mila had 4 points, 4 boards. Osman Arunse had 8 points and 6 block shots with 4 rebounds. 6 points for Jalen Harrell, 2 for Jameer Jones, 3 for Jack Williams, 3 for Cole Hargrove, 2 for Pateris Pinnis. Friars shot the ball very well percentage-wise. They were 35 of 60. That's 58% shooting. They were 15 of 27 from 3. That's 56% shooting. And 9 of 11 from the foul line, 82%. So what was wrong? Well, only 10 turnovers. That's what really stands out.
That's the only negative in the ball game. I mean, they played a good, solid ball game. They moved the ball very well, and I thought they were very efficient. Edwards coming off the bench, he was extremely efficient. He only played 23 minutes and scored 24 points. That's very good production. I like the microwave off the bench. And Vox played the most minutes of anybody on this Friar team in this one, 29 and a half minutes in the ball game. And he seems to have everything settled down out there. He finds the open man. He's very clever out there. When he penetrates, he knows who's open and moves the ball very well. So if they can play that kind of half-court offense and not rush things and take quick shots, they can be very efficient out there. But it all comes down to the defensive end. They did play good defense in the first half, but they need to continue to do that the whole ball game. Yeah, they set it up nicely, got everybody in the ball game, and everybody played good, solid basketball.
We can also tell you that 28 assists are the most for a Providence team since Kim English has been head coach.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice. You want to see that because when you're distributing the ball, it's tough to guard when you have guys, everybody out there throwing the extra pass, and you're constantly scattering around on a defensive end, and you get better looks when you move the ball. It seemed every possession was like 4 or 5 passes. It wasn't guys coming down using the screen and then taking the shot, nobody touching the ball. Everybody else is standing around watching. But in this ball game, they moved the ball in themselves and did a nice job, efficiency on the offensive end.
Final timeout to take, and Joe and I will wrap it up. Santander Bank postgame show here at the Amp. Of course, those in Rhode Island know exactly what's coming up next. We'll talk about that as we continue here from Learfield. This is Providence Friar basketball.
Yeah, I bought all this equipment.
Losing your voice? Man. Hey.
I'm not convinced that guy over my right shoulder sitting in the stands knows where he is.
Oh. Wow.
They're really bad. They are really bad.
Virginia Tech beat South Carolina.
Syracuse beat Tennessee.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Play that 2-3 zone.
True.
They are what they are.
Man, they got so many commercials. Austin gonna do the scores and everything. Let you and I'll wrap it up with you, and then I'm
Okay.
You're losing your voice anyway.
Yeah, I know. Well, we gotta mention something about Rhodey. So
all right, we'll do that coming back.
Yeah, fine. Yep. Jason Edwards did not start the game, but ended up with 11 first-half points, 13 more in the second half. He had 3 3-pointers in that second half. Joe, he gets our overall Santander post-game star of the game, player of the game. And, of course, Santander, proud sponsor of Friar basketball from tip-off to final buzzer.
Yeah, Jason Edwards, I mean, that might be a good role for him coming off the bench. I mean, he can give you instant points, and he's always looking for that shot, and he's very efficient. I mean, he takes the threes. Sometimes he's a little bit rushed on the threes, but when he's in that painted area or foul line extended, he's pretty good at that mid-range game. He hardly ever misses.
94-64 the final. Friars get their 5th win of the year. And, of course, we're back in here on Saturday, and it is the game of the year for so many in this state and in this region. It's PCURI rivalry renewed again at noon tip-off here in the AMP.
Yeah, it's always a fun game. I mean, you have a lot of Rhode Islanders that go to University of Rhode Island and Providence College. So when that game gets together, it's you throw out all records and everything, and it's always a fun game to watch, and always seems to come down to the wire. So it should be an interesting game.
It actually seems like it could be just a matter of who can enforce the other's will on the other, because Rhodey likes to play tight, tough defense. Friars like to fly up and down the floor.
Yeah, I think it'll be a physical game. Rhodey's playing good basketball on the defensive end. They rebound the ball very, very well, and they get physical on the defensive end. They try to slow you down. They don't want to get in the running game. So if the Friars can force them to run a little bit, that might help the Friars. And if Rhodey can slow down the pace, that might frustrate the Friars a little bit. So it's going to be a battle of wills, 2 teams that play completely opposite of where they each other play. So it should be a pretty good ball game to watch.
And Rhodey played tonight against Brown. How'd they do, Austin?
Well, the next 2 Friar opponents on the schedule. Rhodey coming up on Saturday, Brown in a week's time next Tuesday. It ends in a Ram win, 66-56 is the first win for URI since 2018 against Brown, who had won 4 straight in that Rhode Island rivalry. URI just led 31-29 at the break, and they win by 10 at the Ryan Center. One other game in the state of Rhode Island tonight as well. Bryant 77-65 over Stonehill. That one went final just about the time our game here tipped off. That one being played up in Smithfield. So 4 other games in the Big East as well, one of which has gone final. 84-68 Butler over Eastern Michigan. And maybe the leading candidate for Big East Most Improved Player at this point in the year, Finley Bizjack for the Butler Bulldogs. 29 points for Thad Mata's squad, 10 of 14 shooting, including 6 threes for Butler, who I believe just has 1 loss, 1 win,
Correct.
2
That's right.
on the season. So elsewhere in the Big East tonight, 3 other games. Marquette really struggling so far in the year. Same record as the Friars coming in tonight, 4-4. They're down 3. Big favorite at home against Valpo, 45-42. Just had about 14 points with about 3-2. Right now with about 12:20 to go in that one in Milwaukee. Big one in Lawrence, Kansas. UConn trailing 13-11 right now, early in that first half.
And no Terrace Reed in that one for UConn, right?
No Terrace Reed for UConn. 7 early points for Solo Wall, including a 3. And one other game in the Big East tonight, Creighton with a 23-17 lead over Nichols with about 12:40 to go in that first half. 6 points apiece for Nick Graves and Owen Freeman for the Jays.
All right. Thanks, Hoss. 94-64, our final here as the Friars get the win. And as we talked about, well, it'll be URI right here on Saturday afternoon. It'll be a noon tip, which means Joe and I will be here for the pregame at 11:40 on Saturday morning, right here on News Talk 99.7 and AM 630 WPRO. Our next edition of the Kim English Radio Show to preview the URI game is scheduled for this Thursday night at 7 right here on WPRO as well. So you want to tune in for that and get some of the pregame hype going for the Friars and Rams renewing the battle again on Saturday afternoon here in the AMP. Our thanks to studio producer Sam Chozik, Matt Morrell, our engineer, Austin Rooke, halftime and the postgame. And for my partner, Joe Hassett, I'm John Rooke. Again, our final, Providence 94, Fairleigh Dickinson. Friars and the Rams, PC, URI, Providence, Rhodey. It's Saturday, and it's right here. Until then, so long, everybody. Thanks, Sam.